much do you pay attention to what's happening inside your body, like your sense of hunger, or if you have to go to the bathroom, or what your emotions are doing and feeling inside your body? Is this something that you cultivate awareness of? Do you ever do mindful eating? Is it something that you are aware of, or something that you actively block? Because most of us have been taught to actively block that kind of awareness in our society. We're generally not allowed to go to the bathroom when we need to. We have to wait for certain times or permission, or we're only allowed to eat at certain times. We're generally trained out of our ability to be aware of our bodily sensations. So being able to reconnect with our bodies and re-establish that awareness that we used to have when we were babies, generally speaking, unless there was something misfiring in the brain or some kind of different organization happening in the brain. We need that information. We need to reconnect. We need to be able to understand our emotional cues, our hunger cues, our satiety cues. Not being able to understand when we're hungry or when we're full can be a problem for many people. For teachers, having to hold off having to go to the bathroom because you literally can't leave a room full of kids alone by themselves causes great problems further down the road, right? Everybody knows about teacher bladder if you've been in the education field for any period of time. So maintaining, cultivating, building that awareness is super important for our own health. When we understand those cues of when we're getting sick, then we aren't going to, risk getting other people sick, as long as we have symptoms and we know that those are coming, right? But being able to pay attention to the signs and cues that our bodies give us helps us prevent disease further down the road. It helps us understand our own emotions and be able to respond better to them. And then cultivating that awareness for ourselves helps us understand other people's reactions. So part of interoception is being not only aware and responsive to your own emotional state, but also aware and responsive of other people's. So when you're more aware of your own, you can be more responsive to others and more aware of how they're doing. So again, this self-awareness is so important for modeling that kind of self-awareness for children in our care. So this is why I do what I do. This is why I feel so passionate about sensory literacy, because the more awareness we can cultivate for ourselves, the more we can model for the children in our care, and the better off they will be as they were growing up, because as they grow up, because they will have these skills as they're developing, not have to cultivate them as adults like we do. Conversely, do you avoid interoceptive input or avoid awareness of interoceptive input, right? Like I talked about teacher bladder. So what other kinds of cues do we avoid? Our hunger pangs? Do we avoid the satiety cues? Do you ignore that feeling of being sick because you just have to, the grind is the thing and you just have to ignore any signs and signals that your body gives you just to be able to go to work because you can't miss a day? These are programming that we get from society that cause us to disconnect from our bodies and cause a lot of problems with health. So if we can cultivate this awareness, both with our seeking and our avoiding behaviors, of where do we seek out that interoceptive input? Where do we avoid that interoceptive input? And really noticing that within ourselves is going to help us cultivate that awareness, and then model that for the children that we work with. If you'd like to learn more, please click the link in my description to the Sensory Literacy Starter Kit, which is my free mini training on sensory literacy and a special focus on the 3 hidden senses: vestibular, proprioceptive, and interoceptive sense. Also, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and ask questions if you have any. I love questions. And please remember to mind your senses.